Hello everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show, and today we're going to be speaking about insecure partners among other things. So is your partner insecure? What is making him that way, and could you be making things worse? We'll be speaking to our resident love experts James and Helena Marques all about insecure partners and what to do. We'll also be taking a look back at my romantic helicopter ride with my hubby Michael, and taking a look at a couple of fun and different things to do with your partner or even a friend. And we do of course have the self-development clinic with Chris Browne a bit later on, and I'll also be answering a question from a viewer. But first of all, before we do anything else, let's take a look at the fitness tip with Jane Rafter.
Hi everybody, hope you're well. Today I've got for you a little abdominal workout which is only 2 minutes long, and what I'm thinking is for you to get a lovely hot summer six-pack, if you do this workout just 2 minutes every day before summer, guaranteed you'll see a difference in your tummy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the exercises with you and show you how to do them, and then hopefully you can do them on your own every day. 2 minutes a day, that's all you need to do. Okay, so let's get going. So if you start on all fours with a nice flat neutral spine and pull your belly button in, and that's engaging the lower tummy muscle straight away. I'm going to tuck my toes underneath and lift the knees a fraction off of the floor, keeping the shoulders back. Then I'm going to lift up and press down into the heels, draw the belly up into the spine. If your heels don't touch the floor, it doesn't matter, you just aim them to the floor. I'm going to come into a plank. This is a modification, easier, knees down. Knees up is harder. I'm going to go into a side plank. I'm going to keep this shoulder nicely drawn down. Make sure you don't collapse into the shoulder. And then we're going to change sides. So we're going to hold that for a couple of breaths. I'm going to come back into plank. And then if you can manage this, fabulous. If not, just stay with a plank with your knees on the floor for a couple of breaths. Can you see I'm pulling my knees across to the elbows, and this is targeting the waist. So we're going to do about 10 of these, okay? So I'm going to say 2 more. I haven't counted exactly, but I think that's about right. I'm going to whiz over onto my back, legs in the air, hands behind the head. We're going to crisscross. I'm going to aim for about 20 of these, and what I'm doing here is I'm lifting my head and shoulders off the floor and twisting across to the opposite knee without rolling through the body like this. Make sure you don't roll, you want some nice stability here through the pelvis. I'm going to switch to straight legs like this, holding myself up with the arms, relax the chin into the chest, breathe in, breathe out. Guys, I'm not here, look. This won't work. You need to lift yourself up so you feel it in the tummy. Okay, so I'm going to say 2 more, 1 more, and I'm going to run that through more quickly again for you. Okay, so I hope you're joining in. This is the first one. All fours into hover. Into a down dog position, nice stretch through the backs of the legs, into plank, into a side plank. All this works your tummy. All of these plank positions are the best thing you can do for your core section, for your abdominals. Let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I can really feel this now. 5 in my tummy. You can hear I'm getting a little bit breathless as well. It's quite hard work. I think that's 10. So we'll whiz over into our crisscross. 10, 9, 8, nice and lifted. 7, 6, nice deep breaths. 4 and 3, nice strong twist across. 1, and then it's the straight leg lift. And 9. I can really feel this now here in the tummy, upper section and lower section. We'll go for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. And I think that is round about 2 minutes. That is a fantastic abdominal workout. That's all you need to do. Do it every day and get your summer six-pack. And I'll see you next time.
Thank you very much to the lovely Jane. And now we have our resident love experts, James and Helena Marques. And if you don't know, they also have their own show called
Love Talk.
Love Talk.
Yes.
And when's that on?
That's on every Saturday at 3 p.m.
Gosh, you
Saturday at 3.
hesitated for a minute.
Now, obviously, tonight we're going to talk about insecure partners. But first of all, I know you had an event quite recently, because you also do seminars, don't you?
Yes.
And where there was some sort of singles mingling and stuff. How did that go?
Yeah, better than we expected, which is a good thing. Because
Well, what do you normally expect? Like,
no, usually when you get a lot of single people in an environment like that, people are very reluctant to talk to other singles.
Yes.
And
A bit shy.
you wouldn't think it's like that, because they're there to meet other people. But they're very, it's sometimes it can be quite awkward. But it was very fun. We had a stage with 2 entertainers, you know, getting people engaging and talking to each other.
We
And
gave them a little hand,
yes.
if you know what I mean. So they got mingling and talking.
You're introducing people to...
Yes,
Yeah.
and it was
Okay.
quite good. We have some potential couples in the pipeline,
nice.
which is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very
So why do you
exciting.
think people are so shy, though, like to approach?
It could be because they've been through so much already in their love life that they say, oh, you know, okay, I'm going to give it a go, because they come to our seminars for inner healing, you know, like, you know, work things out within themselves, like, oh, okay, I cannot be hurt with this anymore, I need to move on,
Yeah.
and etc. But then we do these things from time to time to get them out of their shell and just
That's nice, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something
help them,
different.
give them a little hand.
And also when you are meeting someone for the first time, especially, or the first couple of times, you tend to be quite worried about the first impression that you're giving people. So I think you become very self-conscious, which when you are worried about your first impression, it actually works against you. It has the opposite effect. So the ideal thing is for you to be yourself and relax.
Yeah.
That's quite difficult sometimes,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we did prepare them. We said, listen, this is what you should do on the day. We spoke about many things to help them. So I think they were really at ease.
It was good.
Okay. Now, talking about insecurity.
Yeah.
We're going to be watching a video. We don't have time to play it in this part. We're going to play it in the next part. But there are obviously insecurities on both sides, male insecurities, female insecurities. In your work, in your seminars and stuff, do you find many couples that are, or people, single people that are actually insecure about themselves?
I think in a way, people, you know, most people are usually insecure about something, right? And it could be anything. Sometimes it's the way you speak, sometimes it's the way you look, but most people are usually insecure about something. Now, the problem with that is that it usually reflects on the relationship, because if you are insecure about something, sometimes it has an adverse effect because you try to compensate, and then you either become sometimes you become quite offensive, you become, so it's very difficult, and ideally the person should deal with those insecurities.
What are men normally insecure about, would you say?
I think men are not usually that insecure about their looks, because usually you'll find the guy, you know, he's put on a bit of weight, he's lost some of his hair, and I'm not talking about myself here, but still the guy doesn't really care. I mean, he still thinks he's the guy.
I mean, most guys, right?
Yes.
Most.
but usually men are insecure, for example, about how much money they make, because they're supposed to be the providers. Some men are insecure about the job they do because they feel it's not good enough. And some men are insecure about the decisions they make, that the decisions will not have a good outcome, and then family members or their partners will judge them. So it's quite different to women.
And also, to add to what you just said, it's not easy to be a man. I know we speak about women a lot, but I have to say this, it's a lot of responsibilities. It's a big responsibility. It's the kids. Maybe your wife got pregnant, now it's the second or third child, and then, you know, my gosh, I need to provide for the family, I cannot let them down, I have a mortgage, I have this and that. It's a very serious thing.
Yeah, because even though, like, obviously now roles have changed quite a bit over the years, but I think men still sort of have that in the back of their mind that I need to provide,
Many
even though
still
the
do.
females are working as well nowadays,
Many still do.
but many still have that sort of
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because the partner is working, but they are still, you know, like
They always feel that they are in charge or responsible in a way.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so we're going to go to a quick break and we're going to show the video afterwards. And also we'd like to obviously discuss ways that we can actually make our partner feel secure.
Okay.
Although, you know, in an ideal world, you should be secure about yourself anyway, but I think there are certain things that maybe the other half does that isn't ideal, that adds to the situation.
Absolutely.
So let's take a look after this.
Hey, babe.
Hey,
Hey.
what's good? This is a surprise. How you doing? You
Hi.
alright? Why are you here? Oh,
Hi.
okay, see you later. Why are you here? What's going on?
I was just coming to see how you are. How are you?
I'm good. You want your lunch? What's
Yeah, I've got a
kind
half day today, remember?
Oh, yeah,
How
of
are you?
course. Yeah, no, I kind of forgot about that. Oh, okay, cool.
Looking cosy here.
Yeah, I'm just, boy, there's a lot to do, and I'm just gonna I was just about to get myself some coffee. Do you want a drink? Do you want anything?
I'd love one.
Okay.
Thank you, babe. I'm in. I texted you earlier. Did you get it?
No, I didn't.
I just checked because I did text you. I just checked, see if you got it.
Oh, see Joe over there.
Not even my messages are on there though. So do you delete them?
I don't really store them. I mean, like memory, I've got like pictures and whatnot on there, so like I don't really keep them. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You sure? You're acting a bit. Don't know.
Yeah, you can sit here. I'm going.
Thanks. You sure you're alright?
I'll see you at home.
You didn't even finish your coffee, babe. Like just press X. They press X on people. Click on it. So, move them up back here, and it will move up to the screen. Go to the file like all files. Stop squirming. There you go. See, I'm thinking of getting one of those. Oh, wow, she's really into this whole ancient stuff, like ancient Greece, ancient
You
Egypt,
should
everything.
definitely get one for her.
So I have to go to Egypt to get it.
No. They sell stuff like this on Portobello Road.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, get one for her.
Yeah, I
You're
think she'll
always
like
talking about her. It's so
that.
sweet.
She's my world,
I
man.
gotta get on.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Right, now before we show you our video of a very insecure male, actually, let's take a look at a lovely helicopter ride that I had with my husband, which is something that you might consider doing yourselves for a romantic date. We're at the London helicopter, and normally for Valentine's Day, we don't normally do anything like this, do we, Michael? It's normally like a meal or something like that. But we've decided to do something completely different and go on a romantic helicopter ride. So it's something out of the norm, and we're really looking forward to it.
There's a briefing card like this in front of every seat, and the most important thing to remember is the sort of green area and the red area. So the green area is the safe area, the red area is the unsafe area. The rule is to stay within my command and within my sight when you're moving outside the helicopter.
are ready to go. So the great thing about this trip is that you get fantastic views of the countryside first, and then obviously we're going to get the lovely views of London as well, so you get the best of both. Back safe and sound.
So Chris and Michael, how are you feeling after your first helicopter trip?
Really excited. It was really nice.
I really loved it because, like I was saying before, it's like you don't just get the views of London, but you get the lovely views of the countryside, and then obviously you get into London and it's just amazing, really stunning views.
So this was your Valentine's treat. So was it romantic?
It was, in a different sense. Normally we go and we go to restaurants, but this is something different, and I think people would really love it.
Who decided they wanted to do this?
Moi?
And why?
You know
What?
what I'm like?
Yeah, I do. And why did you think that? What was it that came to? Why did you think about doing this?
Because I thought it was something different, something exciting, but as well a bit romantic as well.
And we're always
Yeah.
up for new things, new challenges and stuff like that.
Okay, so without further ado, let's take a look at this sketch and then we'll be back to discuss it with our love experts.
Babes, there you are. Where have you been? Where did you go for lunch?
Working.
Oh.
I went out with some friends for lunch.
Oh, I was waiting for you.
Wow, I went out with my friends. You know I go out with my friends for lunch.
So, are you going to be back tonight before 6, 7? Later?
No, I don't know. I'm going out with my friends after work, and then I don't know
All
what
right.
time. I'll text you when I get home.
So I'll just see you at work again tomorrow.
Look, just stop. Why are you making it into a huge issue?
Making it
I
into
don't
a
know what
huge
the
issue.
problem is.
What about me?
I might have friends to go to tonight.
Yeah, but I've barely seen you
No,
today.
Gabby's asked me out, and I might go out with her.
All right, then we'll go out with Gabby then.
Look, we can't be together all the time. It's not healthy. It's not right.
What do you mean it's not right? I just want to see you. I just want to go to lunch with
Yeah,
you.
but we work together. Most couples don't work together. We can't go to lunch together, then
but-
work together, then go home together. It's too much.
Yeah, but we don't go
It's
home
too
together,
much.
do we? I get home a whole 2 hours before you.
Yes,
By the time you get
2
back,
hours,
I'm ready
but
for bed.
you do. Why do you always
Well,
have an issue with
when was
it?
the last time we
Why?
went out? When was the last time we didn't see each other at work?
Questions.
All right.
Just right now.
I'm sorry. So I'll see you tomorrow then. Tomorrow morning at work.
Look, you're just making me more stressed out. I've got so much work to do.
Listen,
You're just always on my
Yours.
back. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll see you tomorrow at work then. Because I won't see you at home, will I?
Yeah, but look, I'll be home later on, but I'll,
Right.
I'll text you.
That seemed like quite an intense argument.
I
You're
know.
right.
Do you know what? It's just so clingy at the moment. I just
Yeah.
don't understand it. It's too much for me. It's like pressure, pressure, pressure. You always want to be with me.
Yeah, what are you going to do about it though? You need to do something.
I don't know, but I don't know. I just need to. I think I need some space from him. I think it's not right for me.
All right,
It's not working.
Do you reckon you'll split up with him then?
I want to. I've wanted it for ages, but I just don't know how to do it. I don't know how to go about it.
Well, I really think that you should just need to sort of do it. Do you know what I mean? You can't, there's like no time like the present. It's just going to drag it out for you and for him, so I
Yeah,
think you need to do it.
I need to.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, I will. Yeah, all right, cool. I'll speak to you later. Okay, then, all right, bye. What's wrong? Are you all right? You look really tired.
Do you know what? You're never going to believe what?
What?
I'm pregnant.
Oh, really? Oh, my gosh. What? I don't know what
Can't
to
believe
say.
it.
What are you going to do?
Left it too long, didn't I?
Right, so we have a young lady there that wasn't very happy in the relationship because her partner was too clingy, and now instead of dealing with the situation or even breaking up with him like she wanted to do, she's now pregnant and has made the situation 10 times worse. But let's talk about the insecurity part on his side of things. So you get those kind of couples where maybe one is very clingy, wants to be together all the time. What would you sort of recommend to a couple in this kind of situation?
In that situation, maybe he feels that way because maybe they don't spend enough time together as a couple. They work together, right? That's what I understood from the video. But it's not the same thing. You need some time, you know, together as a couple. Talk about things, about yourselves, about your feelings, how you feel, things that you want to do in the future, you know, whatever, to do everything to do with your relationship. So I think, in a way, I don't blame him for sounding needy or insecure, because maybe she's not giving that to him, if that makes sense. She says to him, listen, you feel it's too much. She's not understanding how a relationship works.
But also if one party of the relationship is too clingy, whether it's the man or the woman, usually it would be good if the one that's not too clingy, that's more secure, can help the other person to find something that will develop their security and how they feel about themselves. So help the person to find something they'll enjoy doing for themselves or with their friends, and that will help him or her to be more independent. Although a relationship, you are codependent, but for him to have, or for her to have, that sense of, you know, I have something about myself that is interesting as well. I have a life as well. Although they have a life together. Yes.
And also, just to add to what he said, perhaps it would be interesting for her to find out, try to understand why, you know, he feels that way. Why is he behaving that way? You know, think about it. Don't just say, oh, I need to split up, he's not for me, because that's childish. You know, you're dealing with a person.
Because it could be anything. It could be something from the past, right?
Exactly. It could be something that happened in the past. Maybe the person was cheated on so many times, and any little thing, the person thinks, oh, the same is going to happen to me again. It could be anything. I mean, just support the other person, like James just said.
Okay. And say like the relationship is going okay, but there is one partner that is feeling a little bit insecure. Sometimes there are things that the other partner does that can make a person feel a bit insecure. Can you maybe describe some of these situations and maybe things that you can do actually to make your partner feel, well, actually, yeah, I'm special to
That's
this
quite easy. Do you want to start?
You go ahead.
For example.
What he thinks.
For example, if you are a guy, I'll speak of the men. Let me speak about the men here.
I should be speaking about the men.
No,
right?
but you see, from what I've been noticing lately, they have very high expectations. Some men, not all. Like, for example, a woman has to be very slim, very this, very that.
You're not saying that because of me, right?
No.
Good.
No.
I'm in the good books.
No, you're right. You're safe. But, you know, and then the girlfriend or the wife or whatever starts putting on weight, or something happened, there's a pregnancy, or simply because life, you change, your body changes, you go through stages in your life, and then your body changes, your face changes, your hair, whatever. And
so basically be a bit understanding when there's a circumstance.
And don't criticize, don't say, oh, you know, I noticed that you're not the same, or childish comments.
Okay, and how about you, James, before we go to the break?
I think just based on what Helena said, there's two ways of saying one thing, right? So if your partner is insecure and you want to help them, there's two ways of saying the truth. You shouldn't say, look, you know, you are so insecure. right? Because you may be saying the truth, but you may be hurting the person. So why not say, instead of you are so insecure, why not say, look, let's do this together, we can grow together, we can be better at this together, and you motivate the person. So I think it's all about the way that you say what you want to say.
And make that person part of your life. Like,
yeah, because obviously they'll feel insecure if they're not included in anything.
that's the thing. But this happens a lot. Oh, it's my money, that's your money. I'm going with my friends, I will see you later. So you are a couple, so you need to behave like one, be together.
Okay, so we're going to go to a quick break. You're going to stay with us because we'll be talking about fun things you can do with your partner as well. So do join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Okie dokie, so we still have our love experts with us, James and Helena Marques. Now we're going to be
Indeed.
talking about fun things you can do with your partner, because obviously you need to spend time with your partner to make them feel secure, as we were saying before the break.
Yes.
So this is something obviously that I went to do with Barbara, but it's something you could also consider to do for a fun evening out with your partner. So we've been speaking about trying new things, and that also includes restaurants as well. So maybe you're stuck in a routine of going to the same type of restaurant in the same areas, and that can get pretty boring, can't it, Barbara?
Yes, it can.
So we are actually at a Spanish restaurant called the Costa Dorada, currently one of the few places in London that actually have regular flamenco dances. So something different is, it's going to be entertaining and so on. It's something that you can do if you're bored of the other stuff you're doing.
Yeah, so tapas and then flamenco, I think it's a lovely evening.
So we weren't expecting this much food, were we, Barbs? But the first thing I noticed, chorizo is a pretty common thing that you get in Spanish restaurants. But this one is so soft and tender. It's really lovely. I really enjoyed that. That was something really different. I've never seen live flamenco before. We're seeing it on TV and I thought it was really nice. Did you enjoy it?
It looked like hard work, but very, very talented. Yeah.
Fantastic show. So, it is something different. And if you do want to start trying different things, this is one of the things that you can do as well. And the food was nice as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you feel almost like you went to Spain for the evening, don't you think? Yeah.
So that's something different that me and Barbs did for the new year. What are you going to do? So what do you two like getting up to something different when you go out? Because you do quite a lot of stuff for your filming, don't you?
Yes, but we're very different with what we like to do. I mean, there are some things we like to do a lot. Like we really like eating out and going to the countryside. If I happen to have a whole day out, which never happens, but if it does happen, we love going to the countryside and just enjoy the, like a country restaurant and so on. Yeah. But there's a lot of things I like to do that she doesn't.
Like what?
And that plays a part in what we were saying to do with the confidence and security, because you have to have something that you like to do, that it's what makes you feel a man or a woman. So for example, I really like car racing. So if I have a chance, I might go with a few colleagues to like go-karting or anything like that. So she doesn't like that.
Really?
I can even think of something funny. We went to film on a karting.
Oh, that's a good story. Yes.
We went to something you can do. We were saying on TV, something you can do with your partner. You go karting. You know, enjoy do some racing. And then I don't like these things. Okay. We were ready to film, and then I said, you know what? I'm gonna ask our cameraman to pretend he's me.
No, I watched that video. You mean that wasn't you?
So Elena,
You're so
we filmed
naughty.
we filmed Elena getting into the suit and putting the helmet on.
You're so naughty.
And then we got the cameraman to put the same clothes on, get into the.
Look at me.
And I thought you did
and
really well.
by the way, I won that race.
All right, James.
Oh,
He's so competitive.
I can't believe you did that.
Yes.
I thought you like driving cars.
No, as soon as I saw that thing, I said, am I going to put the helmet on my head?
I ruined my hair.
And then I'm like, am I going to breathe inside this thing? I can't breathe in this. I'm like, no, please, just, And the thought of racing and,
No. I would have taken your place. It would have been quite fun.
I know you would. So, but we have fun together.
Yeah, absolutely.
We love comedy.
Yeah.
We watch a lot of comedy, so.
Oh, do you?
And we have.
We often finish it.
Humour is very important in a relationship. Actually, talking about humour, just before we carry on talking, we did also visit a comedy cafe, which is something else that you can do with your partner if they're feeling a little bit down in the dumps or insecure about something. So laughing is a good way to resolve the situation. Let's take a look.
Tonight I've come down to Shoreditch and I'm outside the comedy cafe. And I'm going to go inside and try and find a couple of comedians and ask them why they think laughing is so important. So Kate, you're a comedian. How many years have you been on the stage?
About 2 and a bit, I would say now.
And what inspired you to sort of like go down this road?
Well, I wanted to do like acting, and I used to just sing and play pop songs, and now I do musical comedy because in my uni course there was like a module in stand-up comedy, and I did it just to do something scary and to kind of build my confidence, and then I just carried on doing it. It's not many people bother to go out and watch it. They watch it on TV and it's all Michael McIntyre and stuff, and it's nice to go out and actually be part of it. It's fun.
So how long have you been a comedian for?
I'm into my 3rd year. This is my 3rd year doing comedy, because I'm still learning. But yeah, this is my 3rd year into comedy, and it's going well.
So, how are you? Oh my God! We've got someone here for the stage. Can you believe it? Last person. So, where on the stage are you from? Oh my God!
So will you be hosting any sort of evening, or are you sticking to comedy because that's your thing?
Well, I don't know. I'd host any evening if I could tell a couple of jokes and have a laugh. I don't know. I'd host anything.
What was it that made you want to come down here this evening?
Well, I've come because one of my friends is actually a comedian from me, and he's performing tonight, so he invited me over.
And you?
My lovely cousin invited me.
Do you think if people are feeling a bit down in the dumps or fed up, it's good to get out here and like have a laugh with everyone? Do you think it's quite therapeutic in a way?
I think it's great, especially during the recession. I mean, everyone needs to kind of forget about work and everything that's happening in the economy and just come down here, have a laugh and support good people.
Get the good vibes going. Laughter's the best medicine.
Yeah.
Always sussed out that Quiche isn't exactly a Chinesey name, but that still doesn't stop people from trying to say it in a Chinesey way. I was at UK passport control. It was like, welcome back, Mr.
So how does getting up on stage and making people laugh make you feel inside?
Terrified, and then if it goes well, really good, and if it goes badly, awful.
Comedy's a little bit like therapy, isn't it? So, I'll come on stage and I'll just let go and people will be laughing while I'm on stage like depressed.
He's been dead 12 years.
That's great, thank you.
No problem, thank you.
Thanks a lot, lady.
Thank you.
Really good. Thank you.
So tonight's been eventful and we've spoken to a few comedians. And sometimes you're feeling down in the dumps or life's getting a bit mundane. And it's at times like this that you should go out there and do something that's fun and entertaining to put the smile back onto your face.
Now, before we finish, James and Helena, I think our viewers would really like some top tips on how to make their partner feel secure. And as we already said, it's really important actually that if you are a very insecure person, before you even get into a relationship in the first place, deal with any issues that you might have from the past that's made you feel insecure, because otherwise you're going to be bringing that into your new relationship. But if, for example, the insecurities have stemmed from the relationship, then there are some things maybe that your partner could do.
Yes, there are. Can I, for example, a woman, what could a woman do if her partner is insecure? One of the very important things is to be grateful, to show, I forgot the word. Appreciation is very important. It's very important. Any little thing that he does for you, appreciate it, because he's gone through all the trouble to do that for you. You know, don't take things for granted. Always compliment him. I think it's very important.
Not to put him down.
Never.
And something very important as well is, imagine if the person already has issues with the way that they feel about themselves, if they're insecure about something. If you are the kind of partner that criticizes your partner, then imagine this person who's with you is the greatest asset that you have, right? If you have a great asset, you work on investing for that asset to become even greater. So if you criticize the person, you are diminishing, destroying the asset you have. So if you want to help the person with their insecurities, motivate them, encourage them, help them to be more independent. You know, sometimes she feels like she can't do something, and I always tell her, no, you can do it, go ahead, I'll be there by your side. And so you are helping her to overcome her insecurities, and you are adding value to this person. If you add value to her, you're adding value to yourself as well.
Very, very, just an example, a personal example. For example, I used to be very insecure about my driving, and everything to do with driving, because I don't really like it. But it's a need, I need to drive. And he always helped me from the very first day. Get the car, don't be afraid, just, you know, he would send me on little trips. You know, I need this and that, can you help me?
Let me tell you a story. There was once where I on purpose allowed us to get to a point where we needed something for a meeting, like last minute. And I knew I couldn't go, so that I had to force her to go and get that. This was just after she got her driver's license. But that was like a motivation for her to go, and she...
It was just like...
And you're actually a really good driver, by the way. I've been in the car quite a few times, so she's a really good driver. So
she has a good teacher.
But he did help me a lot. He was really patient. It took me a few years to overcome.
Okay.
But now, see, now I can drive.
Brilliant. Okay, so thank you so much for all the lovely advice.
It's a pleasure.
It's been a while, hasn't it? We need to get you on more often. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you'll be seeing more of them very soon. So thank you very much. And after the break, I'll be answering a question from Charlie, who says, I've been working at my job for a few years now, but I keep getting passed by for promotion. They always give me a good feedback, but always give someone else the position. I have brought this to their attention, but nothing seems to be resolved. What would you do, Chrissy? So we'll be answering that after the break, and also be speaking to Chris Browne with the Self-Development Clinic, so don't go away.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. So we're now in the Self-Development Clinic with Chris Browne. But first of all, Chris, hello, by the way.
Hi, Chrissy.
How are you?
I'm really good, really. Had a really tight week and it's been brilliant, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, that's good. Well, I'm just going to answer this question. Maybe you can give me your feedback as well on it.
Okay.
I read this before the break, and this is from Charlie. And she says, I've been working at my job for a few years now, but I keep getting passed by for promotion. They always give me good feedback, but give the job to someone else. I have brought this to their attention, but nothing seems to be resolved. What would you do? Now, Charlie, I'm going to be really, really honest with you here. It's very easy in these situations to blame everybody else for not getting a promotion. And I give you my own example. I've managed a department of people, and anytime I was asked about, you know, promotions and pay rises, I wouldn't look at the person that was there the longest, or the person that I liked the best or that I got on with. None of these things were irrelevant. I went for the person. I would always put forward the person that I felt was working the hardest and bringing results at the end of the day. So I think what you should do is maybe, okay, you said you've spoken to them, but I think it would be helpful maybe to ask them, not just for feedback from maybe the interview, but ask them, what can I do to improve my work? And see, because maybe there's things that you're doing or not doing that's not really impressing them. And it's not about impressing, obviously, you're not trying to impress the boss as such, but you want to improve your work. So find out from them or from your manager, what can I do to be better at my job? And start working on those things. And I think it's something very important that you need to kind of think about and not just think, oh, I've been here the longest. That doesn't, for me, that's not important who's been there the longest. So check other things as well, and then take it from there. But I would definitely get some feedback from your manager and start improving. Maybe there's some training that you maybe benefit from, or maybe the way you deal with people. Check all areas, and then when you go for the next promotion, you'll be in a better position, I would say. Don't just do the things that you're doing, the same things that you're doing day in, day out. Look to do something different as well, and I'm sure the outcome will be different. Chris, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I'll just finish up with this, saying work hard in your job, you'll make a living. Work hard on yourself, you make a fortune. So she's got to work hard on herself in what she's actually doing. I'm sure she'll get on track.
Okay, and if you have a question as well, you'd like to email me, you can do so on chris@chrissybshow.tv. But now we have Chris with some self-development tips.
Yes, today's tips are particularly to do with getting more out of your time, because we spend a lot of time, but sometimes we complain about can't do this, can't that, there's not enough time to do this, not enough time to do that. And when you think about it, you've got worked out to be 8,760 hours throughout the whole year. Now that's a lot to go with at the end of the day. What are we going to do with all that, right? Now, the funny thing about it is this, we always seem to come up with an excuse why we can't do something. And you've got excuses like, well, there's not enough time. Or you've got excuses as, let's say you're going to do a course, and this course lasts for about, what, a year or 2 years, or 3 years, and you say, well, that's too long. That's too long a time to take out. And you delay it, and you think, oh, and then what happens is, whether you like it or not, that time is going to move on anyway. At the end of it, you look back and you say, well, 2-3 years have gone, I should have done it. You know, we find all these other excuses.
As well, doesn't it?
Exactly. You know, it was really funny. Last week, I said I had a really great week. Had the in-laws over from the States, and they only had a week to go. And between wife and myself, we planned so many things, one day after the other. We must have fit 3 weeks into one week. Yes, exactly. But the funny thing, it was exciting, it was great, we really enjoyed it. And I realised after it made me think about things as well. Think, well, if I did that within that time, what about other stuff that you're doing, Chris? You know, because I usually write it up, put it up in the office, and I thought, rethought it, and I thought, well, you can do a lot more with the time you've got. Now, talking about it, I mean, sadly, but heroically as well, do you remember that gentleman, it was just about a week back or so, who passed away, the cancer sufferer, Stephen?
Yeah,
yes,
young man.
Raised a lot of funds, did everything. But within that time that he had, he really used up that time. And you've seen how much he's raised, like 4 million or so, you know? And the whole nation's been behind it. Now, looking at it at the end of the day, you thought, well, no disrespect to it, but just thinking of somebody when you think every day, you think you've always got this time. If you started to live the way you thought, as if this was your only day, you'd find more things to do, and you'd use that time more valuably at the same time. So we have to think about how we actually use our time. Yes. Now, saying that, here's one we always go with: the time, the alarm clock. You know, I put down earlier on, Mr. Alarm, Mr. A Alarm, right? We always start to negotiate with him in the morning. I've done it numerous times, you know. Mr. Alarm says, get up, get up. Oh, honestly. And then what happens is, alarm, and you press the snooze and you think another 5 minutes, rings off again, another 5 minutes, and then you get up and you start rushing around like a headless chicken. What am I going to do? Oh, I've got to do this, got to get that. But it was your own fault. You didn't actually value that time. You thought, well, all I could do is sleep. But that 5 minutes, that turned into 10 minutes, has actually put you behind with everything else throughout the rest of the day. You're always playing catch up, so you don't perform the best that you could. So don't negotiate with Mr. Alarm, you know, just get up.
Get up, yeah.
Get up out of bed and start doing things. Here's the other one as well. You either got, which we complain about, too much time or too little time. And usually it's one way or the other. You've got too much time on your hands, you start to get bored, you think, what should I do? I don't know, it depends on what your lifestyle you've got at the same time, whether employed or unemployed, any situation you are. Too much time in your hands and you start thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do this? What am I going to do that? And you're actually wasting that time. You've got to get to the space where you've got to find time to actually plan. Right? And if you can find that time, which is really crucial to plan, you should be able to find things that you can do throughout the day. It doesn't always cost so much as well. You know, even if it means getting up and going swimming instead, something simple like that. Add something towards your day to the normal routine. Go to the gallery, do something that's free as well. Add something to your day, write about whatever, add something. Use up that time you've got. You know, as I said, always say, the endorphins get going, you start producing more as well because you're more active. Now, as for the other side of saying I've got too little time, I'm always busy, sometimes that's because of not prioritizing what you're supposed to do, right? So if you haven't prioritized, you're trying to jumble up a lot of things. Been there before, jumble up a lot of things, got to do this, got to do that, got to do this, got to answer that, got to answer this. Comes to nothing at the end of the day. Being busy, but not actually producing.
And sometimes people think, oh, I have to drop some things to be able to handle everything, but it's not always the case, because sometimes people do drop things.
Yes.
And they say, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore, I'm going to give up this responsibility, for example, and they find themselves in the same situation again because the problem is actually the prioritization. They're not doing that properly.
And usually that's a case of actually running away from that thing they're meant to do. You know, it's a case of like, do I do the harder one first? Yeah, I'll leave that till later, you know.
So try and get rid of all the tasks that we don't like.
Yes.
In an ideal world, that would be great, but we have to deal with things that we don't like as well.
Yeah. Well, I remember hearing somebody else who was saying, well, deal with the hard ones first and then do the little ones. I mean, it works different for different people in different ways at the end of the day. But let's get down to actually the answers to this. And we're talking about actually planning your time. As I said, make time to actually plan that time instead. That's the number one on that. Now, in saying that, there are this process that we actually go through, and it's called thoughts, conversation, and action. We go through this all the time. All of us do it throughout our day. Got that moment to stop, whatever. You go through the thoughts, the conversation, the dialogue, and then actually being active in doing something. Now, you've got to work out which one are you doing, when are you doing it, and is it productive in the way you're doing it? How do you actually apply that to what you're doing? It cuts down the whole lot of wasting time. Whether we like it or not, we do it anyway, all the time. Thoughts, then you have conversation, dialogue about it, and then either that dialogue's with yourself or discussing it with someone else, and then you see the active behind it. So you've got to be careful of what you're thinking and what you're going to say to actually make that happen if you think about it in that way. Yeah? So thoughts, conversation, being active as well, makes you more productive in your time. Now, there's one more bit I'm going to say about that, and this is the last one, is what time is it? Now, when I say that, what time is it? I'm actually talking about in your life. What time is it now? How much time have you got? What are you doing with it? Are you being productive? What could you do that you didn't normally do, that you should be doing now? And if there is anything, do it now. That's the main thing.
And why not?
Why not?
No time like the present, as they say, right?
Exactly. That's exactly it, you know. So make yourself more productive, you know, because as I said, you know, time is very valuable.
And it's actually to realise that no matter how brilliant you think you are at organising yourself and prioritising, there's always room for improvement, because there are people that genuinely think, I can't do this any better than what I'm doing it already, and you know, but there are so many shortcuts and so many ways. If you look into it, if you do a bit of research, or you just take time to think, there are so many ways of actually improving what you're doing already.
Very much so. And to add to that as well, you just said, I mean, when we pack too many things in, we actually get stressed. We get very much stressed. We take it out on the people around us. We react differently as soon as we get another issue that comes. That you don't have to go to the same time as everybody else. Everybody's different. So you could pace yourself. Do one at a time and leave it alone. Okay? Relax.
Chris, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And we'll see you again next week. So we have reached the end of the show, people at home. So I do hope you've enjoyed it and benefited from it too. And if you want more information, you can visit the website chrissybshow.tv. And also, if you would like to feature on the show, maybe you have an interesting success story to share with us, or if you'd like more information about anything else and you'd like to actually ask a question, you can also email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv. It's been a pleasure as usual. See you next time. Bye-bye for now. So now we have our buttercream filling.
Should I take that out of the way?
Yeah, what we're going to do next. After this.
We'll do this. Okay. So do you want me? I'll just.
So now we've made our vanilla buttercream.
3, 2, 1.
So now we've made our vanilla buttercream. We're all ready to split and fill the cakes.
Work hard now, work hard now.
Oh, have you put icing sugar down?
No, I didn't. And it's stuck. Let's do that
Lots
again.
of icing sugar.
You are going to get it to stick to the bottom and then what? Tell me. Where those muscles go? Where those muscles?
Hard work?
Yes.